Well, I hope everyone is having a wonderfully fine weekend. I know it is beautiful out, so hopefully you're out enjoying the weekend. It's just gorgeous. So, we're going to take a look at a couple of tricky things regarding pyramids. I always said they're one of the hardest to understand for volume because we can do so many weird things to them. And here's a couple examples. Well, let me get started by looking at the pyramid. And one of the things I want to point out is the ton of right triangles. Now here's my height right here. Here's my height, all right, the altitude of the pyramid. And right over here, I'll do this in blue, is my lateral height. It goes down the face of the pyramid and has this little right angle right here. Lateral height, height. These are just the edges. They don't play a game other than using that information to maybe solve. So look at all the different right triangles I have. I have several. And we may be needing to use all those right triangles just to come up with the things that we need to do to find the volume. So here's the main right triangle that you want to get to. This one right here. This, I'll go ahead and highlight it. See this triangle right here? That triangle right there is an important one. Let me erase. Now, we also have others. Look at this right triangle here. We have the lateral height triangle right here. We have this lateral one. So if we're to do solve it, we would have a squared plus b squared equals c squared, that type of thing. And we have one on the ground laying flat on the surface. We have this right triangle also right here. Now if you're given a square pyramid, say this was 10, this length right here would be 5. Okay, but it needs to be, well, it doesn't have to be square because it could be a rectangular. We just know that this length right here will be half of the side length. So we have all these triangles that we can be using in problems such as this. Here we have find the volume round to the nearest 10th problem. And we're going to be doing a lot of the rounding to the nearest 10th in these volume problems. We're not going to find too many that are going to be exact. We could, but what we need to do is figure out how in the world are we going to get the height. Remember, we need the height because here is our formula, 1/3 base times height. And we did the basics in class, and you've seen this in previous courses as well. Area of the base, which will be 18 times 18, times the height, divided by 3. Well, we're not going to worry about what 18 times 18 is just yet. We'll figure this all out in the calculator, but we got to have the height. Well, we're going to have to do some Pythagorean stuff, but I can start off with this length right here. This length right here is, you got it, 9. We'll put a little 9 right there. We also have a 9 right here because this is going to be half because at altitude, especially given a regular polygon, it'll split right here. So let's take a look at my lateral triangle. I'm going to do an orthographic view of it. Bing, bing, bing. This is 9. My hypotenuse is 15. I actually have a triple, but I'm not going to tell you what the triple is. It's a scale factor triple. And all we have to do is, let's jump over to the calculator real quick. I'm going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared, but basically it's 15 squared. Watch this. Minus 9 squared. Give me 144. And we're going to take square root of that, so we know that this is 12. All right? So my lateral is 12. And I'm going to go ahead and write that down so I don't get confused with it. So L is equal to 12. So that's pretty important if we're finding surface area. But we're looking for volume. Now looky here. I got 9, 12, and an unknown side. Here's my two legs, A and B, and there's C. So I'm going to do 12 squared minus 9, oh boy was that off, minus 9 squared is equal to my H, my height squared. All right, A squared, well that's C squared minus 9 squared is equal to H squared. So I'm going to do 12 squared minus 9 squared is equal to this side right here. So here we go, 12 squared minus 9 squared, boom, and that's 63. I got to take the square root of that. My height is not 63 because we got to take the square root of it. It's h squared. So boom, 63. And that's my exact, but we're going to work in approximate. And I'm going to have 7.9. So h, come on little pin, h is equal to 7.9. Now I go down here. I do 1/3. Area of the base, which is 18 squared, times height of 7.9. I'm going to put this in the calculator. Casio does a wonderful job of it, so I'm going to do 18 squared times 7.9 divided by 3. Knock it all out, I get 853.2, and I'm a happy, happy camper. 853.2, that is my volume in cubic whatever units I happen to use. All right, so let's take a look at this next one. Actually, you're going to take a look at this one, and you're going to do it right now. This is straight off your homework, and this is probably the #1 problem child of what I gave you on Friday. You're going to pause this. I'm not pausing. You're pausing, and you're going to work it now. And I'm going to be watching you. Pause. Some of you didn't pause. Pause now and work it. Go back to the previous example and work it. I'm back. I never really left, but I was just waiting for you to work it. Okay, so what we're going to do is, looky here. We're going to have to come up with the lateral. Here's my lateral. There's my little right triangle. So here's an orthographic view of it. Boom, boom, boom. I got to have the sound effects or I can't work. What's this length right here? I hope you put a 3. And this is a 5. Guess what? You got another triple. 3, 4, 5 triple. We love our triples. So what we have here is this is 4. Now I'm going to do another orthographic view of my height triangle. Here's my height one. And now that became my 4. This is still 3 because I got myself a square pyramid. So this is a 3 right here. And this is not a triple. Don't you dare put 5 over here. That would be a no-no. You C squared. Your C has to be the biggest side. So we're going to do 4 squared minus 3 squared is equal to my height squared. Height squared. And we can do this in our head because we know it's going to come out to be 7, but I'll show you on the calculator. 4 squared minus 3 squared gives me 7. That's 16 minus 9 is 7. And we're going to take the square root of that. Do not put 7 here. That is one of the big mistakes. It is the square root of 7. And let's go ahead and do approximate. We got 2.6. So my height is, where's my pen? H is equal to 2.6. And then we do our 1/3 base times height. And I'm going to throw it all in the calculator. Now this is just 6 times 6 is 36. And this is just 2.6. And it's all going to be all over 3. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. 36 times 2.6 divided by 3. I get 31.2 for my volume, and that of course is approximate, but as they say in horseshoes and hand grenades, that's close enough. All right, and that's cubic centimeters. See you next time.